Here we are in Moosic, Pennsylvania for WrestlingInc.com. Andy Malnowski with Rhyno here for this big event up here at PNC Park. And Rhyno, just talk about tonight. I mean, this was an awesome event, seeing so many guys on the card that you probably haven't seen in a while, but also some you've seen quite bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen guys like Goldust and John Moxley and, in a few months, and it's good to see them again. And a lot of the faces that I've seen on the indies over the years, and just to see them and catch up, and it's really exciting. And the wrestling fans, whether it's in Connecticut or Pennsylvania, they're a lively bunch, and and it's just some familiar faces you see out in the crowd, and with a meet and greet, you get to have a more of a personal relationship with them, because whether it's a couple sentences you share or something, it's just you're more you have that experience. There's no barrier in between, where it's like they can't get to you, to ask you questions or whatever. So meet and greets are always nice. Yeah,
and it looked like you were pretty busy out there, signing autographs, taking pictures, which is awesome. And got to ask you right now, where did the name Rhyno, where did it start? Where did it originate?
Actually, probably the English language back when they discovered the animal,
the
rhinoceros. I remember D'Lo Brown coming up to me in a show in Detroit, but I heard Reckless Youth, Edge and Christian were on the show, but I think Reckless was the first one to actually say it or something like that. So yeah, I'll give him credit.
Yeah, it's stuck ever since.
Yeah, right? I came up with it.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Spelling too. Yeah. Actually, the RHYNO came from Joe Legend.
Really?
Yeah. When we were over in when I signed with WWE, they go, we can't use that.
Right.
And they go trademark, and I'm like, no, there's no. I think they just want. Well, I think they wanted to. Come up with a different name, to make it their own. And I go, and I told Joe that, and he goes, why don't they just use a Y? I'm like, yeah, I'll pitch it. Yeah. So after about 5 weeks, they go, yeah, your name's Rhyno with a Y, you're starting tonight. I'm like, oh, cool.
So. And it's stuck ever since. And you mentioned Edge and Christian, and we talked about it earlier tonight out there amongst the fans. One of the things I was going to say is, what about this driving over the ice you guys did back in the indie scene? What happened there? That really happened. You guys driving on the lakes?
Yeah. Well, the frozen roads up in Manitoba, north of Winnipeg, and like ice road truckers. And it was something that fell through, and and then long story short, our van was going to go through, and Edge did have to come and get me, but I wasn't crying. I was very concerned.
Set the record straight, right?
Yeah, I was not crying. I was actually very concerned. I thought we were all going to die that night, and it was very concerning, So I'm like, get away from the van, everybody. I was on land. I was up a little bit. I could see that van sinking. Yeah, the water coming up. It was pretty scary.
Yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to be woken up, Edge putting his hand across my cheek as he hits the brakes, going, oh wow, look at that big hole in the ice. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, you're here at Safe and Sound, right here at Moosic, PA for WrestlingInc.com. And, what's new now? Impact Wrestling is certainly on the docket right now. Just tell me about that. Your WWE run came to a close for you. Just tell us about that.
It was a great experience with WWE. They treated me great. I enjoyed wrestling with Slater, tagging with Slater, traveling with Slater. He's got kids. And, we talked about re-signing. They offered me more than double what I was making, way more than double, and I just didn't want to, because there's a lot of men and women there. My job is to try to help the younger talent out, and try to discover guys like The Rock, the next Rock, and the next Stone Cold, and all that. And I think I can service the wrestling business more on a level like Impact Wrestling, and on the independent scene too. So it's very important for guys that have been wrestling for so many years to help out the younger generation, because the guys that came before me helped me out a lot, or helped myself, and guys like Edge and Christian and The Rock, like Pat Patterson really helped The Rock, and so.
It's what you say. In wrestling, especially in anything in life, you can't teach experience. You simply have to go through it to help pass it on. And some of the other ventures you're involved in, a nice boatyard now, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah. A lot of people don't know my passion was, has always been boating, And yeah, so just I sold my house. I stayed on my boat for a summer. I always wanted to do it, and I'm like, I'm not getting any younger before I, get hitched again. And some woman goes, "Oh, why do you need to live on a boat?" Boy, they like to say that, right?
Yeah.
These wives and stuff, Are you married?
I am.
Well, you agreed with me. You shouldn't have said that.
Well, actually,
or your wife don't watch it.
My wife will be watching this,
Okay,
so
Yeah. Well, you don't agree with me, right?
No.
Your wife never nags to take out the garbage or whatever. No, but it's one of those things that I wanted to do it, and then I just was looking up marinas for sale, and this one was there, and the price was right, and so it was good. So far, so good.
Yeah,
So.
It's been a special run for you in wrestling. And one big question I wanted to ask. I mean, tell us that experience, the original ECW, but to be the final original champion. I mean, I used to watch you putting people through tables and those spears and those gores, man. There was nothing like it.
Yeah, well, it was very, a lot of fans really enjoy that, and they want to see that Rhyno again. And this run, that's what I'm giving them. Impact, they just go, all right, here's a microphone or here's a camera. Just you be you and cuss. I'm like, you want me to cuss?
Sounds good to me.
All right, and you're gonna pay me? But yeah, so they're just like, just let us have it like he gave it to us before, and a lot of fans really like that, and especially I'm able to work with guys like Tommy Dreamer again, and Rob Van Dam, and like Moose, a lot of younger talent like Michael Elgin, and Tessa Blanchard. I mean, wow, he's just Sammy Callahan. I mean, it's just you've got so many talented men and women there, and it's fun to be in that locker room too. Every locker room I've been in, I've always had a lot of fun, and a lot of people have they respect me and my work, so a lot of the boys, so it's really cool, and but this locker room's pretty special too.
Yeah.
So it's a little smaller, so.
It is.
Yeah.
I talked to Mikey Whipwreck last year about some of the craziest ECW moments, and he said, "Well, what can I say on camera without getting in trouble?" That's what he told me. And but what can you tell us on camera, craziest ECW moment that you ever saw?
Oh, jeez. I don't think I can say anything on camera. Just the insanity, just with the fans, the passion, just the boys, the boys were the boys, back in every locker room. It was the 90s,
I love it.
That's all I have to say. It was the 90s. Things were a lot different.
That's it, man.
Yeah, things flowed a lot freer back then. Yeah.
I love it. Well, Rhyno, final question from us. Where do things go from here? Like you said, you kind of hit it already. You want to help the future, help the industry, and it also, too, advice to the younger guys and the ladies of the industry of like what you need to do to succeed in the industry.
First, you got to make your bed when you wake up every morning. You're laughing, but your wife would probably agree with me.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I tell the younger guys, you got to start your day off with discipline. And worst case scenario, if you don't get anything done or accomplished throughout the day, you at least come home to a nicely made bed. Nothing better than climbing into a nicely made bed. But I try to teach people discipline, because if you start your day off with discipline, you're going to be more disciplined. Going to the gym, getting your meals in, sending out the information to get booked and all that stuff, keeping a log on your booking so you're not double booking yourself, and you're just in life, and to make it in this business or any business, you have to be very disciplined, and I don't want to discourage anybody because you have it within, you're going to get up and go to work 40 hours a week someplace. You might as well get up and, do the things that are going to make you happy. And I mean, if you love your job, you never work a day in your life, and the money will follow, so. Yeah, just discipline.
Excellent. Well, Rhyno, we want to say thank you so much. Any final messages for anybody out there watching this on WrestlingInc.com?
Yeah, just make your f***ing bed.